Hi everyone, in today's video we will be looking at a paper 1, which is the multiple choice paper for English A CSEC, and we'll be going through the discrete items. Now remember, the discrete items can vary, but they are really testing what I like to call the little bits and pieces, the little technical pieces of the language where it comes down to words. Do you know words that mean the same? Do you know words that are opposites in meaning? Do you know when a word is used incorrectly? Do you know when a sentence looks okay? Do you know what grammatical errors are in a sentence if you are presented with a sentence? It could be spelling, it could be punctuation, it could be construction shift where you know how to make a sentence become another sentence, technically just because it doesn't look the same or it may have different words, but sentences mean the same. Yeah, so let us get into our discrete items. Items 1 to 5, the instructions are: each sentence in this section has one underlined word or phrase. Choose from the 4 suggested answers the word which is closest to opposite in meaning to the underlined word. So we're looking for opposite, same thing as antonyms. Number 1, she paid meticulous attention to her work as she attached the beads to the costume. Now, even if you didn't know what meticulous meant, we're trying to get a feel of the sentence too to help us, because a lot of times we do not see these words. Maybe we don't use them in our day-to-day speech, but sometimes, you get clues based on what our sentence is saying. So she's attaching beads to a costume. That sounds like something that needs a lot of care, and so that's what meticulous means. You really have to pay attention and do it carefully so that you can get it done right. And so if she's not paying great attention, careful attention, then our best pick for number 1 would be scant. When you have scant regard, you don't really care how things turn out, how it is done. So A is our answer for number 1. Number 2, we found her appreciative of the help that we had given to her on this matter. Appreciate. You do something, I appreciate it. It means I'm really grateful, I'm thankful. So if I'm not appreciative, what am I? I am ungrateful. And so our answer for number 2 is C. We're down to number 3. As a result of the need for trained staff, the firm had to dismiss several workers. So they needed staff or people who were trained. What did they do? They dismissed some people, some workers. When school is dismissed, school is out. So I'm thinking these workers are out. So they would have let them go. So if they didn't let them go, what did they do? They hired, right? And so our answer for 3 would be B. They employed more people. Number 4. The headgear worn by the factory worker is made from artificial material. Artificial, it's fake, not real. So if it is not fake, and we're looking at our options, it has to be real. We don't see real, but if it's real, it is also the same as A, which is natural. So natural is our answer. Everything else is pretty much the same as artificial. All right. Number 5, she seems to be sensitive to the feelings of others. Now, if you think about being sensitive, having sensitive skin, yeah, to be sensitive is a feeling where like things affect you easily. I'm sensitive to your feelings, so I don't say certain things that I know might hurt you, right? My skin is sensitive, so I don't put certain things on it. So if I'm sensitive about how somebody feels, then I'll know how and what to say. So if I am not, I am insensitive, I'll just say whatever and not care. So, or yeah, so number 5, our best answer, and we're looking for opposites, right? So if I pretty much don't care about how you feel, then I would go with C as the best option. I'm just unaffected by you and your feelings, so I will just say or do whatever I want. So our best answer is C. Okay, now we're doing items 6 to 10, June 2015. Our instructions say each sentence has either 1 or 2 words missing. Choose from the 4 options the word or pair of words which best completes the meaning of the sentence. So the sentence already has a meaning that it's trying to give to you. And we're looking for words that will make that meaning more complete, not to change it. Let's move on. Number 6. Despite his being somewhat short-tempered. So despite of that, despite being short-tempered, his willingness, he's willing to give of his wealth, meaning riches. So he's quite okay with sharing, you know, his riches to help others to succeed led people to call him. So to be willing to give of your riches, your money, it means you're kind. Of all the options there, we're going to choose C because benevolent means kind. Number 7, when parents display a blank for one child, the others are likely to feel. So we're looking at it. To display means to show. So if your parents show something for one child, how will the others feel? So let's look at our options, and our best option would be D. Preference comes from the word prefer. So if parents show that they prefer one child over the others, then of course the others will feel jealous. Number 8, an attack on someone when that person is most vulnerable, maybe blank, but is always blank. So to attack somebody when that person is vulnerable, to be vulnerable, you're in a position where you're probably at a low point, you're at a weak point, and if you attack somebody when they are weak, almost on their face, then I'm sure it would be a good attack. So we're gonna go with D. It's a good attack because it would be effective. You will definitely knock them out, but is it a nice thing to do, right? It is always unkind, so our answer is 8. Very, very important to read the sentences, see what they're trying to tell you, even in spite of words being missing. Number 9, while the committee members did something about insults across the floor, the chairman tried in vain to do what? Order. Sounds like he's going to try to, insults are being something across the floor. And so the chairman is trying to, of course, get order, right? So restore order. How about that? And so A would be the best option. So insults are being hurled across the floor. And 10, are you trying to, that all along he knew of the plot to oust the committee? Are you trying to say that all along he knew of the plot? So we're trying to find a word that would fit so perfectly there. To clarify means to explain. No. Accuse? Not the best option. Persist, totally out. And so we're going to go with D. Are you trying to insinuate that all along he knew of the plot to oust the committee? Good answer. We're going to go with D. Okay, still on the discrete items. We're still on June 2015. We're now at items 11 to 15. And this is a classic where you are finding equivalent sentences. You're given an original sentence and you're asked to find the sentence which says almost the same thing, if not the same thing as that original sentence. And so the instruction is to choose the sentence. Out of the 4 options given, you will choose the sentence that is nearest in meaning to the original sentence. So let's go. Number 11. Mary still wanted to marry John. Still wanted to marry. So she had plans to marry and she's still going to go ahead with it. Even though he had lost all his money. Okay, so he lost all his money. She still wanted to marry him. She had planned to marry him. He lost the money. She's still going to marry him anyway. So which sentence would be best? Mary agreed to marry John although he had lost his money. This agreement to marry John is not although, you know, he had lost his money. It's not an agreement after losing the money. So this one is sounding like that. So we're not going to choose that one just yet. But let's look at the other options. The loss of all John's money. Okay, so we know that is true because he did lose all his money. Did not affect Mary's wish to marry him. And that's what we were seeing in the original sentence where she still wanted. Her mind was not changed. See, John's money did not matter. I don't know if the original sentence said that at all. And so this one is going to not be one that we choose. D, Mary intended, which is fine. She intended to marry John. But look at this, even if he were to lose. Actually, he did. So D is off and B is our best option. So our answer is B for number 11. Number 12. No right-thinking person who has lived in the country will fail. No right-thinking person will fail. If you are right-thinking, then you will not fail. You will actually understand my discuss, that noise. In your mind, you have to turn that sentence around, make it make sense to you, even though it is written one way. Remember, we're looking for the sentence that will kind of twist things around, but we have to find the one that says the same as that original sentence. So if you are not right thinking, then you won't understand. Plus, you have to live in the country to understand and be right thinking to understand my discuss that noise. So I'll allow you to look at the options. A, every right thinking person will understand. Pretty much that's what he's saying, but you have to live in the country to understand and be right thinking. So that part was omitted where you have to live in the country. So let's hold off on A. B, noise in the country is as disgusting to me. No, no, no. He didn't say that these right-thinking persons find the noise disgusting. He didn't say that. So we cannot choose B. And C, my disgust at noise will be understood by any right-thinking person who has lived in the country. And C sounds like it. C sounds like it. D, it is inconceivable that a right-thinking person in the country could fail to understand. Okay, almost there, but the right-thinking person who would have lived in the country. So we're going to stick with C as our answer for 12. Number 13, let's move up. The youth of the country need to organize themselves into cooperatives in order to support the Prime Minister's drive for self-sufficiency. That's what they need to do. What do they need to do? Organize themselves into cooperatives. Why do they need to do this? That's how they will show their support for the Prime Minister's drive for self-sufficiency. So let's look at our options. A, cooperatives are the only means. Already we are seeing that this one isn't right, because never did it said that this was the only way that they could show their support, right? So no. B, the Prime Minister advised the youth. Did he actually say that this is what they should do? No, didn't get that in the original sentence at all. The youth should show their support. Okay, that's how they will show their support, by doing what? Organizing themselves into cooperatives. That sounds like it, but let's look at D. In order to support the plan for self-sufficiency, not bad. the youth need to organize themselves and cooperate. Okay, so to cooperate and to form cooperatives are two different things. So D would be off, and we're sticking with C. 14. Realizing that her suitcase was left on the bus. Now, if you realize that something is left on the bus, you are probably not on the bus anymore. And the woman desperately tried to attract the conductor's attention. To be desperate, man, it's like you don't have much options. Oh my gosh, I need this problem fixed. I need to fix this mess I'm in. So the woman was desperately trying to attract the conductor's attention, meaning to get him to see her, and of course probably in order to get him to notice that, you know, he needs to stop the bus maybe so that she can retrieve her suitcase. So it's good to try to picture what's happening in these sentences so that when you see the options, you can say yep or no. So A, when the woman realized that she was leaving the bus without her suitcase, she tried to attract the conductor's attention. No, the original sentence said that the suitcase was left, not that she was leaving the suitcase. So let's hold off on A. B, the woman became aware of the fact that she no longer had her suitcase. That is true. She didn't have it. And she did her best to catch the attention of the bus conductor. All right, that doesn't sound bad either, but let's look at our other options. The woman made all attempts to attract the conductor's attention to the suitcase. Actually, she tried to attract the conductor's attention to herself. She tried to get his attention to her. Yeah, so C would be off. And D, the conductor's attention was attracted. Actually, she was trying to attract it, and so it never said she actually got his attention. So C and D are off. We're really left with A and B. And so A, we're saying is off because she was leaving, when the original sentence would suggest that she actually did leave it on the bus. So we're going to go with B. She did not have her suitcase on her, and so she really tried to get the attention of the conductor. So B is our answer. 15. The Europeans who were not well off, being not well off means you are not rich. And they were the ones who came to the West Indies. Why? To search for wealth. So they didn't have riches, so hey, they came to the West Indies to try to find it. So let's see which sentence says the same. A, Europeans settled in the West Indies because they were told that they would become richer. Original sentence did not suggest that at all. Nobody told them that. They came to search for it. B and C, we're looking at unemployment. We're saying financial difficulties were the reasons why they came to the West Indies to find fortunes or to find wealth. And we're saying that was not mentioned in the original sentence. We know they were not well off, but we don't know specifically why, and so B and C are out. D is our obvious answer because we're saying they came to seek their fortune, same thing as saying they came in search of wealth. And who were these Europeans, by the way? They were the ones who were not wealthy or rich. And that's that section for now. We're now at items 16 to 20. And in this section, we're looking at whether or not you'll be able to tell if a sentence is okay as it is presented, or if there is something wrong with it because maybe there are grammatical errors, maybe the choice of words were off, or maybe just expressions used in the sentences just do not fit in terms of getting that meaning out. So A, B, or C is what would be an error, but you're told to select D if the sentence is acceptable and there are no errors. So we're looking at items 16 to 20, and this is still June 2015. So question 16 says, we could reach the survivors neither by boat or by plane, and so we abandoned our search as futile. Now, one rule of thumb is that when you say neither or neither, it is followed by nor. When you say either or either, it is followed by or. So in this case, we have neither, and so B should have been nor. So B is the error. 17. I formed, so this is the past tense. I formed the brilliant idea of climbing the fence and to hang from the top of the rail until the bull went away. So this is in the past. So this person formed an idea. Fine. What was the idea now? Of climbing, and it should be hanging. The idea is twofold: climbing the fence and hanging. So when our verbs are joined by and, they need to match. So C should have been hanging. So C is our error. We're at number 18. She was not feeling well at the beginning of the journey, and sitting at the front of the car made her feel worse. Okay, so we're going to say there's nothing wrong with this sentence. The sentence is twofold. In this case, unlike in 17, the verbs immediately followed each other where there was an and, a joining word. But in this case, we have a separate clause or a separate part of the sentence, and then we had another part of the sentence. And so when this and is here, after the comma, we're pretty much starting another clause or another part of the complete sentence here. So she was not feeling well. Okay, that's one expression, one idea. But then we're continuing to say and. We're giving more information. And sitting at the front of the car made her feel worse. It could have been that it could say, and when she sat at the front of the car, she felt worse. So it's fine to say sitting at the front of the car. So we're going to say the sentence has no error at this time. 19. The better of the two athletes, and this is fine because if we have two athletes, then one is good, one is better. If we had three, we would say one is good, one is better, one is best. So the better of the two athletes claim never to have used the dangerous drugs found in his possession. So let's see what's wrong. The better of the two, so one of them, the better of the two, claim, this is where we have a problem because we're saying, technically we're saying one athlete claims. Our verb needs to match. So even though you see athletes before the word claim, the claim is really going for one because the better of the two, meaning one, claims. Number 20. As the teacher continued his lesson, John began to lose all interest, imagining himself laying on his bed, relaxing. Another rule is that we don't use the word lay when we're referring to people. People lie. So minus that A from C, and we would say lying on his bed, relaxing. So that's another rule that can come in very handy in this case. So C is the problem here. It's our error. It should be the word lying.